Hi everyone. In this video, I want to show you how you can use children's books to get better at a language. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about Spanish, but you can apply a lot of these ideas to really any language. Okay, so um, to actually get good at a language, you probably need to practice reading and writing, but you can practice reading and also speaking aloud from a book. Okay, so I actually got this book for free. Somebody threw it away basically, and I got it for free. Um, and it's basically like a upper level primary school. I'd say it's an upper level primary school level. And what I wanted to talk about in this book, in this video, is how you can use books like these to get better at a language. So for me, I noticed that I can actually, I don't know if this is going to zoom in well, but if you can actually read these out loud. So what I recommend is actually reading the book out loud. So like at the top, like this is what I tried just 1 or 2 days ago. Okay, so the book is called Yo soy ninguno. Okay, if you just I'll just read the first sentence. Si ahora coges el diccionario y buscas la palabra. Okay, I might have messed up some pronunciation there. But even if I just could read this out loud, just one page might take me a few minutes to read it out loud if I want to, uh, practice the pronunciation. And if I'm not sure of a word, sometimes I'll just try to uh, use pronunciations that are similar. I could be wrong, and sometimes I'll use Google Translate to or SpanishDictionary.com, but Google Translate is really very good. Okay, and this is probably a higher level book. I still haven't. I also got this for free. Okay, so I would probably say this would be like a middle school level book, and I think it's a. Yeah, this is a mystery book. I don't actually know if this was originally in Spanish or if it was originally in another language, but regardless, uh, this could be also a good book to read along. It's a bit more complicated, but you can practice speaking the words. And one thing that's really key for me is that don't get bogged down. If you don't know how to pronounce one word, that's okay. That's okay if you can't get one word. Uh, Sometimes you can just uh, practice as if you know the word, and you might have it wrong. But for me, one of the biggest things is just literally practicing speaking the language, even if the pronunciation is slightly wrong. Because at least for the first time, what I would say is that you can practice speaking the words, okay, and then later you can go um, like sentence by sentence or word by word and use Google Translate or something like that to make sure you have the right pronunciations. But for me, this really has been an extremely useful tool. Just literally, you know, I might say like a kindergarten level. Like if you in kindergarten, often people learn to read. Okay, so you learn the letters, and then often the teacher will have you read like simple words out loud, and then eventually you get to a point where maybe you don't need to read them out loud. But if you're learning a foreign language, it's often good to read it aloud. So, like I said, this is a book I've been using, and yeah, it's like very simple. Uh, and honestly, the story is semi interesting. I would never read a book like this just in English, I guess. But for Spanish, I think it's good because it helps me to practice. And yeah, so for me, uh, practicing a language every day or as often as you can would be is better than rarely studying it, but for long periods of time. So even if you have only 5 minutes every day, that would be great. That's one exercise. Okay, so this is something that I actually really did want to read. It's an encyclopedia, but it's kind of complicated in terms of, yeah, this is probably a high school level. Okay, so for example, it talks about the Russian Revolution, and I think that's World War One. Okay, um, and this to me is really interesting. It talks about okay, so I'm in Chile. In Chile, actually claimed part of Antarctica, though I don't know about the legality of if any actually countries own part of Antarctica. But anyway, I'd like to be able to read this someday, but for me, this is too complicated. So, and likewise for this, I think this is very interesting. I'm especially interested in this man. His name is Bernardo O'Higgins. He's a very interesting guy. He's very popular here in Chile. But it's a bit complicated to be able to read this. So, what I would say is start with a very simple thing like this, or even, okay, or even something even more simple. Okay, I got this book uh, at a McDonald's actually, and I think it was one of the Happy Meals, and I got a choice of a toy or a book, and I chose the book. Okay, so here's part of the story. Okay, it's not really that interesting to me, but what I can do, for example, here, um, okay, so this is about a dancer or something. Okay, so this is the story, and then it says, like in the lower left, is it, esta es la increíble historia de una niña de St. Louis. Okay, so this is a story about a girl named Josephine. And anyway, so you can read these out loud, like literally practice reading the words out loud. And that's a way to practice your pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important. Again, I think having proper pronunciation is very important. But when you first start, I would say just literally practice saying the letters, the sounds, um, then you can get more confident for pretty much everything. Later, you're speaking, you're listening. So it's like a positive feedback loop. And then this is a book I got. I don't remember where I got this. I might have got this here in Chile. I might have gotten that in Colombia. I might have got this in Panama. I honestly don't know. But this is basically the reason I got this actually is because I'm about to publish my first coloring book, and eventually want to publish more. And I just wanted to get ideas about potential themes I could do. Okay, and anyway, you see there that this is basically made for very young kids. This is made. Okay, so it says here. Um, okay, I'm pretty sure I got this in Colombia. So in the upper right, it says 4 to 5 years. Okay, so it's made for kindergarten, basically, or preschool. Okay, so anyway, so what I want to say is, and the last thing is, this is a book I really want to be able to read, but the problem is the words still are, uh, the words are hard for me in terms of, I don't, gosh. So actually, this is something that would be very motivating for me to want to be able to read because I think the topic can be interesting. Sometimes it can be boring to learn about matrices and vectors and all that sort of stuff. But this can help me to review about matrices and determinants and so on. Okay, but this would be later, like way later, after I'm already decent at reading. So first, I would say, okay, maybe you can get a very young children's book. Maybe even this is too complicated. Like you can get one for kindergarten or preschool. And don't feel dumb or embarrassed. Like everybody starts somewhere, and little kids learn at the very basic level and they build up. So if you're learning a foreign language, I think, yeah, in the beginning, start very basic. you can read it and then also read it out loud. Read it out loud because then you're practicing your reading and the speaking, and to me, and then also you're practicing the listening simultaneously because you're listening to yourself. Okay, so, and again, like I said, even if I just spend like 5 minutes a day, if I just read read the story, okay, like I said, maybe I don't find the story really that interesting, but I can practice reading different pages and read them out loud. Okay, and then here, of course, it has like a picture next to it, and then I've got words, and that word on the house means friend. Amigo is friend. Okay, and anyway, so like for example, I could read part of it like El Niño estuvo muy uh, ocupado. Okay, anyway, so my Spanish is not really that good, but if I want to actually get much better, I can continually practice this. And even if I'm able to read like one of these a month or even one a week, okay, one a week might be hard because I'm busy, but one a month I think would be good. And like I said, you can use Google Translate to help with the pronunciation. And I also recommend Google Translate to, if you actually take a picture of each page, you can get the text. You can extract the text like a OCR, optical character recognition. But I don't want to make this video too complicated to talk about too many things. So what I wanted to say is, yeah, so in summary about this video, if you want to get better at, for example, Spanish or really any language, you can practice reading simple books, okay? So these are some pretty simple books, and maybe even this one's a little bit complicated for beginners. So you could even go for the super young ones, the super young kids. Like, for example, this is a math book. Okay, so you can see they're practicing writing numbers, and then okay, so it says like practice writing the number five. Five is cinco, and then they practice literally like making the symbol for the number five. Okay, and then you can see it's got like circle the domino that has five on it. Okay, so what I would say is, yeah, like maybe even go to your maybe even go to your local library if it has a foreign language section. But if you can't get a foreign language book, I'm sure you can find some free books online or public domain books. And anyway, so that was the point of this video. So the idea is that if you want to get better at almost any language, you can practice reading, and specifically reading and read aloud. So you read and you simultaneously speak the words. So you're kind of working on two skills at once, the reading and the speaking. And arguably, you're also working on listening as you're listening to yourself. And for me, also, it just gives me more confidence. So, like I said, I'm not claiming to be great at Spanish. I think I'm okay at Spanish, but if I want to become really good, become fluent, I should practice reading a lot more, speaking a lot more. And yeah, like if I want to get a teacher, I can. But I think uh, being able to read simple books can really help you and motivate you and give you more confidence. So it's a win-win. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. And then these were ideas for how to get better at learning a language and specifically Spanish. Okay, I hope you enjoyed.